Am I the a-hole for no longer paying for my homeless sister and her kids' hotel room after she insulted me? I, 23F, have a sister who's 33. We get along for the most part, but after a huge argument I stopped paying for her hotel this week and she only has a few days until her checkout. So what led to the argument was that she insulted my parenting and said I'm a bad mom. We have two totally different experiences with motherhood. I had my first son at 15 and my second at 18. Their father and I split up when we were 18 and ever since we've had an equal co-parenting relationship. We both have our own places and I keep the boys for 3 weeks and then he takes them for 3 weeks. Because of this, it allows us to be active parents and also live our lives like anyone else our age. During my 3 weeks I have the ability to go out of town, go on vacation, party, and my ex does the same. Has such an amazing father and we're flexible with the schedule if either of us wants more/less time. My sister on the other hand has no help. Her fiancé left her while she was pregnant and she's been raising her 3 kids alone since. He doesn't see them or call, and only pays $80 in child support a month. My sister struggles with childcare and ended up losing her apartment. She's been in an extended stay hotel since August and I've been paying since my parents can't afford it. They live in a studio themselves so they have no space for her and the kids. We live in a high cost of living city and if it wasn't for my boyfriend being willing to cover my section of the rent these past few months, I wouldn't be able to afford it. The other day my sister calls me and asks me if I can come over to watch her kids so she can go to a job interview. I went over to the hotel at noon and she left at 2. I had plans to go out with my boyfriend at 7 and let her know. She said she'd be back soon, but once it hit 6 I started calling her and she didn't answer. At midnight she came stumbling in drunk and we got into a huge fight. I was pissed she made me miss my plans and she didn't have to lie about a job interview if she needed a babysitter to go get drunk. She started yelling at me saying that I don't even see my kids for half the year, so to shut up about her needing a babysitter one night and that she's at home every single day with no breaks being a real mom while I go out living life like I have no responsibilities. And that I'm a horrible mom because I'm okay with being apart from my kids and she would never. I told her it's not her choice to be around them 24/7, their father doesn't want them and it's not my fault I choose a better man than she did. She kicked me out and told the front desk to trespass me. I changed my card info so the next payment wouldn't go through the next day. My parents are calling me a huge asshole and threatening to cut me off if I stop paying for her room. Am I the a-hole for going on vacation when my in-laws visit? My husband and I have been married for 23 years. I've always had kind of an iffy relationship with my Sil because she's made it known for years that she wishes my husband married his college girlfriend and not me. Over the years we got to the point where I wouldn't call us super close, but we were friendly enough to text and would hang out solo when one of us visited the other. Last year my Phil got very sick and needed specialized care. My husband wanted him to live with us during his treatment and during recovery and I agreed. Sil made it clear she did not want him at her house. I was able to go part-time at work during this time and so by nature I became the primary caregiver. It wasn't fun, but I did care for my Phil and was happy that he and my husband had time together. My Bill and Sil were very much in denial when it came to his health. When my Phil had appointments I would keep everyone informed, mostly via a text chain because it was easier, and mostly stayed out of decision-making because he's not my father and I wanted to respect that. Sil/Bill started treating me like hired help. Example, when Phil needed to go to a skilled rehab facility after a stay in the hospital I ran around touring facilities and spent hours on the phone, and when I let everyone know my findings my Sil said we'll discuss as a family and get back to you. Excuse me? I guess I'm not family. Instances like this happen more and more and neither Bill or Sil made any effort to come see their dying father. When I would occasionally express my feelings to Sil said this doesn't concern you, go get your nails done or something. Eventually my Phil passed away and I cut off all contact with my in-laws. There was no blowout. I just stopped responding to the group chat and stopped actively trying to be in their lives and made my husband start shopping for birthday gifts, etc. for them and told him to leave my name off the cards. My husband wasn't thrilled about the rift but understood where I was coming from and I told him many times that he can have whatever relationship he wants with them, just leave me out of it. A few weeks ago my Sil sent me a text apologizing for everything because she was in denial about my Phil and she hopes I'm doing fabulous. I sent her a message back acknowledging her apology and thanking her for the time and effort she put into reflecting on the situation but didn't initiate further conversation. My Sil now wants to come to visit and stay with us for a few days. I told my husband she's welcome to stay but I will be going to see my best friend during that time. My husband was taken aback and said he understands but it really upsets him that I want nothing to do with her and it's not realistic for me to avoid her forever. I really do not want anything to do with people who don't consider me family. Am I the a-hole for not paying the full amount for a family-style dinner where I only ate bread? My wife and I are both vegan, but we don't make a big deal out of it. We don't judge others for their choices and we don't expect them to accommodate us. We usually just find something we can eat wherever we go, or eat beforehand if we know the options are limited. One of my friends invited us to his birthday dinner at a restaurant in Brooklyn. He said it was a last-minute thing and he didn't have time to make reservations, so we just had to show up and hope for the best. We checked the menu online and saw that there were not many vegan options, except for chips and guacamole, hummus, and bread. We decided to eat a snack at home and then order drinks and appetizers at the restaurant. We also have been tight with money lately because of some medical expenses, so we didn't want to spend too much on food we couldn't eat anyway. When we got to the restaurant, we found out that they were doing it all family style and splitting the bill evenly among everyone. There were about 15 people in our group, and they ordered a lot of food, most of which was meat or cheese-based. The only thing we could eat was the bread, so we just had a couple of slices each and 2 beers each. At the end of the night, my friend sent me a Venmo request for $120 for our share of the dinner. I was shocked by the amount, since our 4 drinks were only $32 plus tip, so about $40. I texted him back and explained that we didn't know it was going to be family style, and that we only had the beers and some bread. I said I would send him $60 to cover our drinks and a bit extra for the bread. He got angry and said that we should have told him we were vegan, and that it was rude to not participate in the family-style dinner. He said that everyone else paid their fair share, and that we were being cheap and selfish. He said that he expected us to pay the full amount. The decision to make it a family-style meal was done last second too because the restaurant had no idea a party of 15 was showing up. Otherwise we could have split the bill per party and been fine. I don't think we did anything wrong. We didn't ask for any special treatment, and we didn't complain about the food. We just ate what we could and tried to have a good time. We also didn't want to make a scene or cause any drama by announcing our dietary preferences. We thought $60 was more than enough for what we consumed, and we didn't want to pay for food we couldn't eat. Am I the a-hole for what I wore in front of my boyfriend's friend? 2 days ago my 21F boyfriend, 23M, had his friends over. I knew they were coming since he'd told me the night before. It was really warm, surprisingly, and all I was wearing was a sports bra, sort of low-cut, and kinda tight shorts. I sat on the couch next to my boyfriend for a little while, whilst they played some game on the TV, and then I went to get some lunch. By the time I was finished eating they had left and my boyfriend completely blew up at me. He said I was dressed like that for attention. I made all his friends stare at me. I knew what I was doing and that I should have covered up as soon as I saw them. He stormed out, and since he came home he's barely spoken to me. Am I the a-hole for saying that I will support my son's children but not his widow? My son divorced his wife of 10 years to get together with their nanny. I told him that he was making a mistake but that he was an adult and could make his own decisions. He became a shitty father to his children. I wish I could say differently, but there it is. I did the best I could to ensure that my grandchildren knew they were loved and part of a family. My ex-daughter-in-law also remained. We had known her for 14 years and she was always kind and friendly with us. We used the money we were going to leave to our son and set up educational funds and a trust fund for his children he was neglecting. My son had 2 children with his new wife. She always held it against us that we told him that she was a mistake. We didn't get to see them very much. She didn't want them around his older children. She didn't want to be around his first wife. It never ended. My son passed away last year. He left her a life insurance policy and a lot of debt. She was a stay-at-home mom and her only job previously was being a nanny. And I'm not sure she would get a good reference from her previous employer. She used the life insurance to pay off all of their debts including the mortgage on their home. But now she has started to run through the savings she had. She came over, with the kids, to see if we would give her money from our son's inheritance. We told her that it was spoken for. We said that we could help her out with stuff for the kids but that she would need to get a job to support her family. She said we were family, so I said that she had basically ignored and sidelined us for years. We are only family now that she needs us. I said that we would take care of our grandchildren but she needed to work.